The wheel of time turns, and ages come and pass, leaving memories that become legend. Legend fades to myth, and even myth is long forgotten when the age that gave it birth comes again. In one age, called Third Age by some, an age yet to come, an age long past. What the fuck? Cool, right? But what does it mean? If you're watching this, it means that you're awesome, first of all. Beyond that, it also might just happen that you don't know what the Wheel of Time is, or maybe you're just a fan who is giving my channel some support, and that is very awesome of you again. Regardless, today we're going to be talking about one of the questions my non-book reader friends ask me all the time. What is the Wheel of Time, and why are you so obsessed about it? Well, that is a tough question, and it's something that is actually kind of hard to answer in a few sentences. Yet, in this video, I will try my best to explain some of the basics that might help newcomers to better understand the first season of the upcoming TV show, and if they're interested in reading the series as a whole. Because of this video will contain some slight world-building spoilers, but it's nothing that big beyond those aspects. If somehow I miss something that's very important, which I will likely do because I am honestly kind of a newbie here, please someone let me know. And I will also leave some links in the description to videos from some of my favorite content creators who will do a much better job than I will on this topic. Before we get into it though, please consider subscribing and sharing this video with your friends, enemies, relatives, pets, you name it, whoever you want. Please just share the video because it would mean a lot for me. And I'm very excited to keep making videos in the near future, and your feedback would help me a lot to make better content. Now, let's get to it. The Wheel of Time is one of the most beloved and best-selling book series of all time. As of 2021, the series has sold over 90 million copies worldwide, making it one of the best-selling epic fantasy series since Lord of the Rings. For perspective, A Song of Ice and Fire, the book series which inspired the hit TV show Game of Thrones, has sold about 90 million copies as well. The Wheel of Time, however, is a finished series. It consists of 14 books, 11 of which were written by my favorite author, Robert Jordan. The Eye of the World was released in 1990. I wasn't even born yet. In fact, I was -8 years old. And Robert Jordan worked relentlessly to expand his vision, creating one of the most intricate and complex fantasy worlds ever put to the written format. In 2006, however, Robert Jordan publicly disclosed that he had been diagnosed with cardiac amyloidosis, which is a rare disorder caused by the deposit of an abnormal protein called amyloid in the heart tissue. These deposits make it really hard for the heart to pump accurately, so it actually has a very bad prognosis of about 13 months. Sadly, in 2007, he passes away. He spent his final days, however, dedicated to helping someone finish his epic story. He left behind massive amounts of notes, which were eventually given to Brandon Sanderson. Robert Jordan's widow, Harriet McDougall, was integral in this process and selected Sanderson because of his heartfelt eulogy, which still makes a lot of fans weep to this day. Sanderson managed to masterfully finish Jordan's epic by writing the final 3 volumes of the series, which concluded with the epic book A Memory of Light. This ending is one of the most satisfying and most beloved in the fantasy genre. At its most basic, The Wheel of Time is a turning point between classic fantasy and modern fantasy. It tells a very familiar tale about good versus evil, light and shadow, but it does so by taking well-known fantasy tropes and subverting them in clever and unique ways. The Wheel of Time books are well known for being instrumental in ushering the modern trend of hard magic systems. The world is complex, it follows certain rules that are rarely manipulated, and our characters must operate between these lines. One of these concepts central to the story is the concept of the wheel itself. Yes, it's not only the name of the series. Metaphysically speaking, the world of the Wheel of Time is spun out by the wheel. Yes, a wheel. I know what you're thinking, but just bear with me. It might be a bit overwhelming, but just sit back, listen, and I hope you get it by the end. If not, I'll link some great videos which, again, do a way better job at explaining this than I will. The Wheel of Time itself is a metaphysical construct that creates the world we read about and will eventually see in, of course, our respective books and now the TV show. This wheel is responsible for everything that goes on in the physical universe. It creates the fabric of reality using threads. These threads are woven into what we know to be reality, also known in the books as the pattern. These threads make the pattern itself are like individual pieces to a bigger puzzle. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's the best way to describe it. They are as lines of code are to a program. In fact, Robert Jordan himself once likened the Wheel of Time to the most complex computer ever created. This notion of it being an AI that can course correct itself whenever it sees some trouble. It also is very important to know that one turning of the wheel consists of 7 ages. After the 7th age has passed, a new turning will begin, and time will reset at the beginning of the first age once again. The cyclical nature is at the core of the series and its ideas and themes. A prominent theme in the series is the theme of reincarnation and the cyclical nature of life, death, and rebirth. As you can see, Jordan was heavily influenced by the views of Hinduism, Sikhism, and Buddhism, which are incorporated into this mythos. Another important part that we need to know is what many people would call the magic that people use in the show. It is correctly termed the One Power, which consists of 2 halves. Moraine, which is one of the central characters which will be focused on in the first season of the show and is heavily focused on in the books as well, puts it best when she says, "The One Power comes from the true source, the driving force of creation, the force the creator made to turn the wheel of time. Saidin, the male half of the true source, and Saidar, the female half, work against each other and at the same time together to provide that force." Outside of the pattern, however, and again this might be a bit hard to follow but just stick with me, exist 2 entities outside time and space. One is known as the creator, while the other is known as the Dark One. At the moment of creation, the creator imprisoned the Dark One outside time and reality itself. In the second age, known as the Age of Legends, a group of scientists accidentally drilled a hole into the Dark One's prison. In an attempt to stop the Dark One's corruption and influence over the pattern itself and the Wheel of Time itself, a group of 100 male channelers led a strike on the Dark One's prison at Shale Ghul, the place where he is closest to the pattern. This strike was led by Luz Theron Telamon, the strongest male channeler, also known as the Dragon. They successfully sealed the Dark One's prison, however, it came at a great cost. As a counterstroke, the Dark One was able to poison the male half of the One Power, Saidin, turning all the male channelers into crazed weapons of mass destruction. The period that followed is known as the Breaking of the World, where male channelers driven insane by the taint of the One Power destroyed the world, bringing an end to the Age of Legends and dramatically altering the geography of the world as a result of their madness. The story of the books takes place at the end of the Third Age. The seals of the Dark One's prison are breaking. His influence in the ebbs and flows of the pattern are starting to be felt. Yet all is not lost, as the dragon has been reborn. Will the dragon save the world, or will he destroy it? As Robert Jordan used to say, RAFO, which means read and find out, or come November, I guess the new fans will have to WAFO, which I guess means watch and find out. So yeah, that was a quick rundown of everything you need to know about the lore and everything that happens, well, not everything, but most of the things that happen before the story of the Wheel of Time itself begins. However, these are just fundamental aspects. These are not spoilers, so you're free to go into the series just knowing this, and it will help you enjoy it a lot more. In terms of what to expect from the show, from tone and direction, I think we should open our minds to a show that will be less violent and less graphic than Game of Thrones if they wish to stick to the source material. However, we've seen that they have aged up the characters and have teased some intimacy and some blood in the show, so it'll be, in my estimation, somewhere between a PG-13 rating and Game of Thrones, but it won't be as hardcore and frankly as hard to watch at points as Game of Thrones was. So if you're a fan of Game of Thrones, wanting to see something that was inspirational into the creation of Game of Thrones, because something I didn't mention, Robert Jordan and George R. R. Martin were great friends, and George had great admiration for Robert Jordan and his work. So finally getting to see Robert Jordan's epic brought to the screen is not just a dream for us fans, but it's also coming full circle because we've also been able to see Game of Thrones. So hopefully we'll have a bunch of more seasons of Wheel of Time to discuss in the future, but I think that is all for me right now. I hope you watched this video to the end. If you have, thank you so much. I want to give a special shout out to everyone who's helped me so far, those who shared the information of my channel on Twitter, those who gave me the memes that'll be in this later part of the video. I love you all, and thanks for watching.